Famcast Media, bitch.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, persons of all ages, welcome to the most exclusive group in the wrestling community. And now, your hosts, first, from Oahu, Puerto Rico!
Hey. What happened? Technical difficulties?
I suppose so. It just stopped. I mean, D, what the hell's going on here?
That's what happens when that Famcast Media check don't clear, and that shit bounces.
Right? That's probably what it was. I was like, what the hell just happened? But it's all right. It's all good. Como estamos, mi gente? Welcome back to another edition of Must Love Wrestling as we have Paddy Rican in the house right here. Happy Halloween, as he says it. And you are Rican of awesomeness.
Paddy Rican of awesomeness, baby. Happy to be back with you, Mach. I feel like I made it to the big time now. I feel like this is my big match in Madison Square Garden now. So now I get to do a review with you. This is great.
All right. After all that hyperbole, why don't we jump into Monday Night Raw? Anyway, so as you guys know, we have Paddy Rican. He's guest hosting over from Working the Marks, which is our mainstay. That is our big time. That's our WWE. So
this is like, this is a part of the family. This is like SmackDown. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I'll take that. I'll take SmackDown. Yeah. I mean, it's all good. I'll enjoy that. I like to think of myself as like the SmackDown 6. How's that?
I like that. It's better than being developmental. So
Yeah, absolutely. Except for the fact that the SmackDown 6 had Chavo Guerrero, and I don't really like Chavo.
I was more of a Kerwin White guy, but that's just me.
Oh, okay. I like that. Okay, sounds good. All right, guys. Well, we're here to review the Raw show. So I'm going to kind of read through these notes here that I had taken in place, and then me and Paddy are just going to dissect the show and see what we thought about it. Obviously, Pat, it just starts with, as the same way it did the past 6 weeks, we start with Judgment Day, but this time we're starting with Rhea, Dom, and JD McDonough. But they make it very clear that JD is not a part of the group, but he has done everything in his power to join the group. What do you think of this? The fact that they just keep stringing him along. Do you like it, or?
I think it's great. I think it if there's one thing that we've seen, we know that works with the audience, it's lackey storylines. I mean, you look across the board, you think of any lackey. I mean, Stevie and Raven, Sammy, in the bloodline, Sandow and the Miz, like these are all angles that seem to get over and help guys get over that maybe don't have that perception. JD, to me, I think's a fantastic worker. I think he's just missing that intangible, missing that it factor, and maybe him working with the Judgment Day and doing this is good. But I mean, all in all, I think it creates a great dynamic on the screen.
100%. I mean, we obviously see that Rhea is taking charge right away. She's kind of told the group, this is what we're going to have happen tonight. We're going to have Dom is going to wrestle Ricochet, who I think is an unsung hero in professional wrestling as a whole. That dude is money.
Amen.
We're also going to have Sami Zayn versus Damian Priest later on in the evening, which we'll get to in a little bit because Damian doesn't seem too happy about that match. And she just drops a dime that we're getting JD McDonough versus Seth Rollins, which I was really looking forward to. I was like, God damn, we're getting that match tonight. Yeah. So what'd you think of these matches that were put in place?
I thought it was, as the kids like to say online, a stacked card. I think Agreed. It was, look, they're all talented guys, and to your point, Ricochet is a guy that I feel like doesn't get his flowers enough. He's an amazing wrestler, one of the best, if not the best flyer in the world. I mean, the guy is just amazing. He's been improving on the mic. I know some people tend to be a little critical of his talking ability, but I think overall he's gotten better and better each time we see him. And he's a guy that, for me personally, I feel deserves a little bit more than what he's getting right now. But man, he's making the most of every opportunity. He's keeping his head down and he's working at a high level.
100%, 100%. Let's talk about a guy that's working at a high level because his promos tonight was just phenomenal, which was Sami Zayn.
Oh,
This guy comes out, he interrupts the Judgment Day, he shuts down Rhea Ripley right away. And after he made that statement that he's a world heavyweight championship caliber wrestler, he has really risen to the top there. I mean, I think that this split between Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn is actually going to work out to benefit both of them. What do you think about it?
absolutely. I mean, you want to talk about like promo school promos, like, man, anybody who's out there, an aspiring young wrestler, if you're watching the show right now, that promo that Sami Zayn cut tonight, you should watch that because the passion, the fire, the belief in his words, I mean, the crowd got behind it instantly. And Sammy, to me, is a guy who's just been firing another one at a very, very high level right now. You know, his run with the Judgment, I mean, the Bloodline, now his feud with the Judgment Day, his tag work with Kevin. I mean, this dude is just fantastic. And again, just further proof that, like, you know, there's so many great top level talents in WWE, and you really don't need Roman to carry the load all the time. Obviously, Roman helps, but I mean, guys, man, they stand on their own, and I just thought it was a fantastic segment.
I completely agree with you. I honestly, I think that to myself all the time. I'm like, this is what makes the show so great. The fact that there's so many talents that are willing to step up and do what they need to do to get everything moving in the right direction. And now we know, because it has been said by Sami Zayn, that that's the feud for him. He wants to end the Judgment Day. So now we know that that is his objective entirely. So I'm excited for that, because I know a lot of people are upset that it's Sami Zayn versus the Judgment Day and they feel like it's just recycled paper. But guys, sometimes you need a long-term feud. You need to relax and just let things unfold. But what I loved here, go ahead.
Oh, no. Go ahead. Because I just wanted to piggyback on something you were saying, but please finish your thought.
No, I just wanted to talk about the heat that Dom Dom's getting on the mic. I just think it's amazing. I mean, the guy just touches the microphone. He can't say anything before it just pipes in. And I'm talking about pipe in, but I mean like actual live audience, because there's been a lot of videos out there on YouTube and TikTok of people trying to dispel this, where they're like, hey, I'm live in attendance. It gets this loud here.
Yeah.
But I mean, for some reason, everybody thinks it's technical.
No. Let me tell you something. I think that there's a lot of tribalism in wrestling. We all know that. There's people that have their favorites, their, you know, like their favorite companies, their favorite wrestlers, whatever it is. But, you know, there comes a time where you have to recognize certain things as undeniable. And one of those things that's undeniable is Dominic Mysterio's ascension to being a top level bad guy or heel, whatever you want to call it. And to me, I mean, again, he's just doing so good. I mean, everybody in this segment is a star in their own way, and is somebody who's contributing to the bigger picture. And again, for all the people that want to cry and complain that, oh, you know, it's pointless putting Sammy and all this stuff, look at that crowd reaction tonight. Look at how that crowd got behind him. How many times have we seen a babyface come out there and, you know, cut a promo similar to that in the past throughout the years? And, you know, sometimes the crowd gets behind it, but sometimes the crowd doesn't. I mean, it's stuff that we commonly see in wrestling on television, but this was something different. There was a little mustard to it. There was a little something behind it. And you can tell by the crowd reaction that the crowd's with this. So I think whoever doesn't like this is very much in the minority in this case.
100%, and they have to be the niche group from the other company. That's all it has to be right there. It just has to be the Rockers Light people. That's it. In terms of what we're watching here, I think this is great. And to be quite honest with you, I'm very excited about the fact that Dominic Mysterio is North American champion, and I'm also excited about the fact that now Ricochet is in that spot. So we get that Ricochet versus Dom match, and I thought it was great. It was another way to showcase that Dom has just progressed so much as an in-ring performer, because it's not just his character that's progressed. His in-ring ability has just moved forward so quickly. I honestly feel like the best thing for him was to pull him away from his dad, because he was trying too much to be a cruiserweight, and that's not his style. He needs to work bigger. He's 6'2", I believe his dad said on the Cold Tub series with Kevin Hart. And so I didn't realize that he was that tall. And now we're watching him work, guys, and he's working so much better. And he is a combination of edge, of Art Bar. He's got a little bit of Eddie Guerrero in there. I mean, he does do the Three Amigos in the different way that we learned how to do a suplex. He does get up differently. In the wrong direction. But yeah, definitely appreciate everything he does, but I definitely see Edge, Art Bar, and Eddie Guerrero in his character.
Absolutely. I mean, for me, it's not so much the work. The work is good. The work's gotten better. The way he works as a heel, I think, is fantastic. It's simple, but very effective. He knows when to pick it up. He knows when to slow it down. His mannerisms are just the biggest thing that get me all the time. His facial expressions, how he's kind of like really becoming more and more of a character. And again, he's a very special young talent that I really see a lot of potential. I mean, obviously the comparisons you just made, Edge, he's becoming more and more confident. The way he works, his style, the way he looks, it's very Edge centric. Art Bar, obviously, Art Bar, Eddie Guerrero, two guys that immensely influenced each other. And you're seeing a lot of that within Dominic Mysterio. And I'm just enjoying it. As a fan of all those guys you just mentioned, I see that he's become an amalgamation of them. That's a nice word, by the way, amalgamation, word of the day here on Must Love Wrestling.
I love it. I love it.
But I just think that as a fan of those guys, he's really embodying a lot of the great elements that made those guys who they are. And again, just great stuff. Great stuff, man.
Yeah, I agree with you. Honestly, what I really liked was that we hit all the major points in the match. As people like to point out, like the 5 moves of doom, whether it's Bret Hart or John Cena or whoever. Yeah. I really enjoyed the fact that we had a Northern Lights into a Brainbuster into a standing shooting star. We still got the 3 amigos from Dominic Mysterio. And honestly, I love the fact that he tried to 619, he missed it. And then we have a schmoz finish, because that's what Dom should be doing. He should be winning this way. He shouldn't be winning clean. Not yet. Yeah. We got that. You know how it works when it comes to heels. Like, they have to win shitty all the time. And then eventually, like when he wrestled, I believe it was Dragon Lee, he beats clean.
Well, I think the difference between those two matches is where you're going with the program. Obviously Dragon Lee, it was kind of like a one-off thing between them on the main roster. Yeah. I thought that was a great way for him to win. I thought the match was amazing. One of the best matches we've seen probably this year on Monday Night Raw.
100%.
And that's not an overreach, folks. You watch that match back, it's fantastic.
Yes.
But I think with Ricochet, it's different because you're kind of trying to get a program going between them. So obviously, you want to leave Ricochet in a position where he still looks strong. And, based on the booking, it really looked that way. So I look forward to more matches between those two guys. I think they could definitely bring something good, not only to the title, but also to the podcast king, D Rotten over here in his green shirt.
The show. What's going on, mi gente?
Yeah.
What's going on, guys?
He's living in that bar in Brooklyn. That's where he's broadcasting from.
There you go. I love it. I love it. Lucky 13. Let's get it.
They got me captive over there, bro.
Yeah, so D, we're just rolling on with this with the
what have I missed? What I missed
with the Raw review here. We're actually just got started with the first match. Pat, as you mentioned, how Ricochet looks strong towards the end of this. He does run off the Judgment Day by himself. He runs off 2.5 of them because, I mean, obviously JD's a little guy. And what I thought was really interesting in this show,
little guy, bro. Don't mess.
Oh, I'm sorry. I know you're 5'2". I'm sorry. What I thought was really weird was the fact that I don't know if I would call it weird, but it was interesting on a choice with creative tonight. Was there was a lot of video packages hyping up different teams and different wrestlers. What did you think of that? The first one being Now with DIY.
I thought it was great. I mean, look, a lot of these people are people that are coming from developmental. Unless you're a hardcore fan of the product, you're not going to really know who too many of these people are. So I think stuff like that is good because you hype them up, you show what they're capable of, you show how good they are and how good they can be. And in a way, it helps change the perception of the talent. The Creed brothers, they did that too as well, so. And that stuff is valuable. That stuff's important, especially when you're hyping up the women's match, which is going to be happening this weekend. The 6, is it 6 women that are involved in that match or 5 women?
It's a fatal 5-way.
Fatal 5-way. Okay. So all 5 women that are in that match, people know them, but I mean, you still got to hype it up. You still got to get people interested.
They're allowing women to fight over there again?
Yeah, we have actually 2 matches. 7 women will be competing at Crown Jewel for the first time ever. That's pretty exciting.
See, I want to know what outfits are they going to wear, though.
They're going to have to wear full body outfits, but no one, and I mean this, not just because I'm wearing my girl's shirt, no one is going to have a cooler outfit than Becky Lynch's last year. Beatrix Kiddo
Is Jade going to be over there or no?
Who?
Is Jade Cargill going to be over there? Is he thinking?
I doubt it.
I doubt
No?
it. But I mean, I wouldn't see unless they're trying to hotshot a program.
Mm-hmm.
That's the only thing I could see. But I mean, yeah, I don't think they want to go that route just yet. You know?
Yeah,
Okay.
absolutely.
Too hot,
You mentioned
too hot.
Yeah, Pat, you mentioned the Creed brothers, so let's jump right into it.
Oh
Now,
yeah.
once again, we do get another video package for Raquel Rodriguez in between the actual match itself, the entrances, but we have Alpha Academy versus the Creed brothers, and bro, this match was amazing. What did you think? I was floored by this.
First of all, I mean, when I saw it was announced, I was excited about it.
Mhm.
Just because of the matchup, just because all four of the gentlemen involved, their backgrounds in amateur wrestling. I mean, that right there, I was already sold, and I knew it was going to be special. The Creed brothers, you know, I know they get a lot of comparisons to me. They remind me of the Haas brothers. That's what they remind me of.
That's what I keep
100%.
thinking about when you keep saying that.
Yeah,
That is the
yeah.
perfect compare. I keep comparing them to the Steiner brothers, but that right there, I think we need to mark that right here. That's the perfect comparison.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And look, and the Steiners too. I mean, the Steiners, the Bulldogs, you know, they have a lot of different layers to them. And I'm excited about them. I'm excited for them. I love the unorthodox things that they do that still look
100%.
very, very effective.
Yeah.
And you know, that to me, I think is something interesting. And that's another way to be creative, to be original, to stand out. And that's what I want to see more of in wrestling, because I know a lot of times you hear fans say, well, everything's been done, you know, and this and that and all that stuff. Look, you got to keep trying to push for it. D understands what I'm saying when I say this as a fellow musician, although I am a singer, I'm not a composer.
That's right, baby. You better learn your spot.
But you know, you know, there's so many ways you can play a guitar. There's so many notes on a guitar that you can play, but you still have to think outside of the box about what you can do to try and be creative and try and stand out. And you look at all the great musicians throughout time, and they've all been able to do that. And I think that the Creed brothers are certainly something interesting and a really good young talent to look forward to as time rolls along. But yeah, I thought this was a phenomenal match. Obviously, you knew the Creed brothers were going to go over. The way they did it was great. Otis looked strong. Everybody looked strong in this match, and the finish was just awesome.
Yeah, I really loved the fact that we got a babyface versus babyface team, but we also had a stare down between Maxine and Evie, because it felt genuine. It felt like, oh, if we can have a mixed gender match, that this is exactly the way it would go. I loved it. I love the fact that Evie hits Akira Tozawa, the newly admitted member of Alpha Academy, with a German suplex. The way he took that German outside, I was like, God damn, bro, relax. That was not a safe way to take it. But yo, what did you think of that spot? We have a world's strongest slam into a 450 splash into a moonsault by Chad Gable. It was like, dude, all of that, just what a beautiful sequence there. And Pat, I know you'll appreciate this because you've been in the ring before, but did you see the way they all protected each other? Did you see how safe everything was? Julius Creed being such a young talent, for him to land the 450 splash without hurting Otis, and for Chad Gable to land the moonsault a little bit off to the left so he doesn't land his full body weight on top of Julius Creed. It was perfect, because he could have really hurt him like Billy Kidman style if he would have landed, because that was towards his head, but he does it over towards his shoulder. What did you think of that spot?
I mean, look, I think that match is a testament to the Performance Center and the greatness of the Performance Center. And more importantly, it's a testament to the Next in Line program. You know, you look at the Creed brothers, they're part of that. You know, these are two high-level collegiate athletes that came in, that the WWE signed, trained, and look at what they're becoming. You can see the level of care, the level of professionalism that these guys have, that these talents have. You know, Chad Gable, Otis, these are guys that went through the PC. You know what I mean? They were down there, you know, and these guys are some of the best wrestlers in the world, man. So, you know, again, man, I'm very, very excited for what the future holds for the Creed brothers, and I hope we see them again on Monday Night Raw or on SmackDown or wherever, as far as the main roster is concerned.
Preach it, Anti-Snowman. Preach it.
Yeah, absolutely. I thought this was beautiful. What really stuck out to me in this match was just how awesome the four of them made each other look. And I know the intention here was to make the Creed brothers, but honestly, if we're looking at this match as a whole, just take a step back and watch it, I felt like all six of the talents out there all came out looking like winners. We have the Creed brothers and Evie. They looked phenomenal. Maxine and Alpha Academy, they looked amazing. And even Akira Tozawa, you could throw him in there. He goes out there, he takes a German suplex from the Pitbull, and it works out really well. I mean, I really enjoyed the way that was structured. What did you think of the Creed brothers finisher? I had never actually seen it, but I enjoyed that.
So I thought they were gonna hit the high spot where he does the cannonball off the top, to the people on the outside of the ring. And I always pop for that because again, I really like how unorthodox it is. It's kind of similar to like Darby Allin when he does the coffin drop, which that's kind of a lucha thing. Or when Kofi does his dive, he does more of the lucha dive too. So stuff like that I like because it looks unpredictable. It doesn't look as staged as perhaps as other maneuvers would. But man, I mean, really cool, really, really cool. And most importantly, safe. Yes. Safe. It looked 100%. Cool. It was safe. You could see the talent was safe. Otis was protected. The one Creed brother was protected. And when he hit the cannonball to Otis, you could see he kind of just bounced off to his side and he didn't obstruct the bump. And again, high level professionalism, bro. I mean, like,
do they call that the Miz style?
No, they call that the bomb doomsday device.
No, I'm talking about the wrestling style. Is that the Miz style? Safe.
Oh,
wrestling?
The safe working.
Well, I think Miz is more in the vein of what WWE developmental trains their talent to be like. However, I think the Miz also comes from a different time. So it's a little bit different compared to like, let's say the Creed brothers and what the objective is now, Yeah. No, the Miz is good at what he does. He's very good at what he does. John Brandel, how are you? Thanks for tuning in tonight. Good evening, brothers. Hope all is well. We hope all is well with you, and thanks for joining us here tonight. Look at me. I'm taking over co-hosting.
No, duties. I love it, Papa.
Let's get putting over people.
That's my brother from another mother. Do what you got to do, Papa. I love it. Yeah. Well, from there, we move backstage to I thought this was a hilarious segment between the Judgment Day and the New Day. The New Day comes out, and they're the new Judgment Day. What did you think of the fact that Kofi Kingston used the Senor Money in the Bank, but he was using like a fucking like lunchbox, like not even a good lunchbox, like a disposable lunchbox. Damien plays the straight man so well, man. He's perfect at that. I loved it. We move right here into, it looks like a little bit of a tiff between Rhea Ripley and Damian Priest. It looks like there's some dissension in here, but there's something we're going to talk about a little later that I wanted to see if you noticed in the show. What did you think about this? The kind of like creaks in here. Did you think it adds to the story, or you think it's nothing to pay attention to?
Absolutely, it adds to the story. I mean, you can tell they've kind of been teasing this for a while, whether it's through JD McDonough's involvement in the group and the dissension there, Finn and Priest kind of disagreeing, Rhea kind of, testing Dom, all this stuff that's going on. I like this element. I think it creates for more possibilities. And at the end of the day, that's what you want your audience doing. You want your audience thinking of possibilities instead of saying, well, I knew that was going to happen.
Now, do you guys want the Judgment Day to break up?
No, fuck no.
I don't. No? I don't. Nah, no, not at all.
You want like a 4 horseman run?
Maybe like a year from now, maybe. But even then, I just still don't think so. I think what they're doing right now is excellent, especially when you don't have the bloodline around as often and the bloodline is no longer a full stable. They, to me, are the number one stable in the business. I'm sorry. Them. And you know what? You know who I'll put in the conversation? And this is going to be a shocker. Bullet Club Gold.
Don't do
Bullet Club Gold.
I love it.
Bullet Club Gold. Oh, yeah.
Love that. Over AEW? Are you putting over AEW right now?
We're putting over New Japan.
What? Whoa. You said Gold, brother. You said
all four of those
matter.
guys.
Bullet Club is a New Japan thing. Yes, 100%. 100%. I love that. We jump right in here to The Miz welcoming Gunther. And before we jump into this, let's talk about the rumor that broke today pretty much by all wrestling pundits was that WWE is looking to make a massive shift in The Miz's character and move him over to babyface. There were 2 rumors that broke today. Both of them were proven true. The Creed brothers debuted tonight on Monday Night Raw, and The Miz was moved over to a babyface.
Is he divorcing Maurice? Because she's never going to be a face, dog.
Well,
she's always going to be a face, Papa.
Yeah, I know that, but I'm saying, face, baby face.
Well, the thing is, as I saw somebody tweet earlier during the show, the best way to make someone a face is put him out there with Gunther. He is a natural born heel, and this might be a bigger heel than Miz is at the moment. I love the way this was positioned, and I honestly felt like they went toe to toe on the mic. This actually came off better than LA Knight and the Miz. LA Knight looked like he just floundered when he was out there with the Miz. He looked like he wasn't up for the task. He's doing well against Roman. He's doing well against Roman because Roman knows how to protect the guy that he's out there with, but that's not the Miz's job. The Miz's job is to test to see if you can work, that you can actually do this. This is a big deal for Gunther. What do you think about the Miz versus Gunther? Greatest Intercontinental Champion of all time versus Gunther.
Oh,
I personally enjoyed this segment a lot. At first, when I saw it, I was like, oh, this is gonna, I don't know, lead to some sort of tag match, you know, because I didn't see the dirt sheets. I didn't see that there was rumors of him turning face. Obviously, you watch this segment, they accomplished the goal within this segment of turning him face. But I thought everybody held their own really, really well. I thought Vinci did good. I thought Miz did great. I love the ad-libbing between them. Kaiser, that dude is just like amazing, man.
Kaiser's winning at life. He's a phenomenal talent. He looks great. He's dating Tiffany Stratton. This dude is winning at life.
Yeah. Sounds like a hot dog.
Yeah. No, he's definitely one of the unsung heroes, I think, in that group. But Gunther came out, his seriousness, the confidence this guy has on the microphone, especially getting in there with a guy like The Miz. And let me tell you something, man. People can say whatever they want to say about The Miz. I'm not the biggest Miz fan in the world.
It's your namesake, bro. It's your namesake.
Well, that guy could do his thing. That guy could do his thing. You know what I'm saying? And he's a dependable professional. He's proven it time and again for WWE. And again, you don't have to be a fan of this guy, but you can't deny his professionalism and what this guy's capable of. And I thought this segment was excellent. I thought they accomplished everything that they needed to. And I think it's good to kind of tease that matchup and the potential of that matchup somewhere down the line, which I think would be a really good one.
Yeah, 100%.
I got a question though.
And one small thing, real quick here. I love the way they mentioned, and I love the way Gunther mentioned this, and this definitely popped the marks. Okay.
That was my next comment. Go ahead.
Was that he said he was a pro wrestler and that Miz was a sports entertainer, and that the ring was sacred to him. And I thought that was such a nice touch because that's the biggest thing that sets Gunther apart from everybody else. The fact that this guy treats it like it is a sport, treats it like it is sacred, with respect, with honor, with integrity. And I just thought that was such a perfect little touch to that segment. This segment, another banger of a segment.
Yeah, absolutely. What was your question there, D?
You don't think that WWE dropped the ball on Gunther when he broke the record that he should have beaten Honky Tonk Man for that breaking the record match?
What? No. Why?
No, you don't. I don't know. Just for nostalgia.
That's like an insurance disaster waiting to happen, bro. Come on, man.
Yeah, I think the objective of this, is for him to set a record that is completely unattainable. That's why I believe he takes it all the way to WrestleMania and then he loses to Chad Gable.
Oh, stop with this Chad Gable. Chad Gable's time is gone.
I like that. No, his time is not gone, man. Chad Gable's super talented, and I think based on the booking and where you're seeing this, you know, the Creed brothers could easily take that place. Chad's gotten over big time with the thank you and shoosh and all that other stuff. That's good shit, man. And eventually they're going to have to break him away from the comedy stuff because the guy's so immensely talented. So I'm with you on that one, Mach.
Man, that's pretty cool, man. Take tons of pictures. Let us know. Jump in the chat after Royal Rumble. Let us know what you thought of the show.
Yeah, man. Enjoy that, man. Have a blast. Absolutely.
Oh, yeah. Enjoy that. Hopefully LA Knight doesn't win. Enjoy it. Yeah.
You're really pushing the professor's buttons today.
I'll be honest. I hope it's a straight edge superstar, whoever that might be.
That would be
You're looking into somebody's eyes, right? What do you see?
I don't know what I see.
Wow.
This fire that burns inside. I don't know.
Ooh,
I don't know.
Personality.
I love that. From here, we get DIY coming down to the ring with brand new theme song, and they're wearing gear that matches together. Tommaso Ciampa and Johnny Gargano. I believe that these two work better as a tag team than they do as individual superstars. I don't know how you guys feel about that. They just seem like a better tag team than actually separate. And they actually wrestle Vinci and Kaiser. They pick up the W here. I actually love their finisher. It's a V trigger into a super kick. What did you think of this match itself?
Personally, I thought the match was good, and I agree with you. I think that these two guys together, it's better for the both of them. Obviously, they tried to push them as single stars. I know that they're favorites of Triple H. They're both very accomplished pros, but they're two smaller guys. If we're being honest, Ciampa is a little bit more muscular than Johnny. They're both fantastic workers, but to your point, I think together as a group, they're more effective. They're more believable. They're more real. Not to say that Ciampa hasn't had some great matches recently, man. Let's give Ciampa his flowers. That dude has had some real good matches lately. Man.
Absolutely.
But I think that this is a win for them. I think this is a great way to introduce them to the main roster and potentially push them into the tag title picture as a solid babyface tag team. But I thought the match was good. And I liked a bit of storytelling at the end where you see, you know, Kaiser kind of looking at Vinci sideways now because, you know, he spoke when you didn't ask him to speak. So now, you know, he also got the loss in it. Let me tell you something, Vinci too, man. I was not a huge fan of these guys, being 100% honest. I thought they were completely unnecessary. I thought that Gunther was good on his own. These guys have proven me wrong. And I think that the both of them are doing great. And this was another good match tonight, man.
Agreed. I liked it. I even like the name of their finish, Meet in the Middle.
Yeah.
Awesome. From here, we go backstage to quite possibly, it could be my favorite thing that's happening in pro wrestling today. And it's the whole subtitle Shinsuke Nakamura promo.
Oh, yeah.
Pat, I'm in love with this right now. I haven't been an anime fan very long. Growing up in Puerto Rico, all we really had was Sailor Moon. So that's something me and my sister watched as a kid. Coming over to the States, I believe it was you that introduced me. We went to go to the $2 movie theater and we went to go watch Kill Bill together. And that anime scene is what made me an anime fan in that movie. So this is what it reminds me of. It reminds me of anime and I love it, man. I love this version of Shin. What do you like? Do you like it?
I think it's fantastic. I think that this is what he's needed for a very, very, very long time. Obviously, he's a very charismatic guy. He doesn't have to say anything in English or Japanese. He just goes out there. He sells himself because with his talent, with just the way he is, the overall vibe and aura of him. But this is something different, and I feel that you know Triple H, man, I think he's found different ways to take guys that have been successful, that have been good, but he's found a way to kind of put a different spin on them and freshen them up. And I think for a bit there, Nakamura was kind of stagnating. I thought the feud with Rollins really kind of kicked them back into gear.
Yeah.
I thought he had great matches with Rollins, but the overall presentation, the vignettes, the packages, everything that went into it, you know, the way he's doing the promos with the subtitles, I think it's fantastic. He's got that aura of, you know, a Kill Bill bad guy. And I just think he's really doing great work right now, and I'm really looking forward to what his next feud will be.
I hope he doesn't have a feud until after Survivor Series because I feel like there's this Second City Saint that would be perfect to go up against him.
I think that would be excellent. I think that, you know, Punk is a guy that could work that style. I think both of them having a background in MMA would also help. Having a background in grappling would also help. Obviously, Nakamura, you know, is, you know, he's more experienced in that realm. But nonetheless, that's stuff that they can throw into their match to create a really, really, really good matchup. So I wouldn't be surprised. But I'll tell you what, if they do go that way, I'm all in, man. I think that would 100%. Be fantastic.
I love the teasing. I love the fact that Shin is using to go to sleep.
Yeah.
I love that. From there, we move on to Xia Li, who has just really represented herself well. I'm very excited about the potential of what she means to professional wrestling in the future. I like what we're watching with her. We see her kind of pick up this weird win over Candice LeRae, but I think just like Eric Bischoff has said in the past, you got to leave them asking questions, and that's what this match did. I'm a big fan of Candice LeRae. I think she's one of the most underutilized talents in wrestling. I mean, obviously I don't come on the internet and bitch about it like people do when they, you know, their favorites don't come on TV, but I'll say it here. I'm a big fan of hers. I'm actually like her more than I like her husband. But I thought this was a great way to put Xia Li, because if the objective is to have Xia and Becky be the next big feud for Becky, then this works out really well. It kind of makes her a monster, right?
Yeah, absolutely. I'm gonna throw another couple of Jersey All Pro shout outs in here tonight. But Candice LeRae, I first saw her in Jersey All Pro when she was teaming with, I believe, Joey Ryan at the time. That was when they were known as the world's cutest tag team. And she stood out so much. She obviously stood out working with him. He was a big character guy at the time. Obviously, we know what happened with him. It was good she distanced herself from him and from all of that. But yeah, she's somebody who is an absolute professional. She can go in there, mix it up with anybody. Xia Li, I think, is so interesting and so cool because obviously there's a lot of Asian representation on the roster. You know, you have the Japanese representation. She's Chinese. She's going to stand out. And I like the way that she differentiates herself from them, but is still very much of a badass and in that realm of being a badass, just like the way Asuka and Io are. And I think that that's really, really cool. I thought that this reminded me of Loki. This reminded me of when Loki would wrestle people and he would knock them out and everybody would be like, what the hell happened? You know, and they'd be like, yo, the match is called off. This guy's unconscious. You know, that's the kind of booking that I think she would need and the presentation that she would need to make her formidable in the eyes of, you know, more Monday Night Raw main roster people that watch it. And yeah, I thought it was really good for what it was. And you can see the confusion in the crowd's face. You could see people kind of like wondering like what's going on. And I thought I thought everybody did a really great job of selling that and creating that perception. And overall, I thought that was a good segment for her too.
100%. What I really liked about it was how Candice sold it.
Yeah.
You have to, I mean, she's just so good at what she does, man.
She really is.
Yeah. I love the Loki reference too, because I actually went to back-to-back shows where Loki at Jersey All Pro at Charity Hall, where he knocked out Buffy from Christopher Street Connection, and then he knocked out Dan Moss.
I was at that one
week.
Yeah.
The Buffy one? Were we there together?
Yeah, we were at the Buffy one. We were at the Buffy one for sure.
I remember like we were all like, "What the fuck just happened? Did he do it? Was it shoot? We didn't know." Yes,
but that aura, you know, the way the room was, you could feel the atmosphere. You could feel it was just like, oh my god, like what happened here, you know? And I think that was excellent. And I think that that's a really great way to present Xia Li as a character on the main roster. And I hope that they continue with it. Honestly, moving on, I really think it would be good.
Yeah, I love that. From here, we go to another backstage segment with the Judgment Day. And we have Jimmy Uso saying he's going to slide in on Finn Balor soon. That's kind of weird. We have Sami Zayn saying he's going to take care of business tonight. And then Cody Rhodes telling us that he's going to handle business on Saturday. So obviously the three of these guys are still feuding with the Judgment Day. There doesn't seem to be anything new, but obviously we'll move into this at the end of the show. Sure. But what I really wanted to talk about next was Drew McIntyre's promo, because this promo, I noticed something and I scrolled for a while on Twitter and I realized I was the only one that took notice to this. Did you see anything stick out during this promo?
I'll be honest, no. It had a very Bret Hart vibe to it. You know, it had
his favorite wrestler ever.
Yeah, it had a very bitter Bret Hart vibe to it. You know, like you know, I deserve more. You know, like kind of like leading to that, you know, anti-American Bret Hart kind of thing. But it certainly reeked of a heel turn, and you know, he's kind of trying to paint himself as a sympathetic character. So that was pretty much what I got for it. But what did you see within it?
Well, the Bret Hart thing I love. I did not notice that. I'm sorry. But I love that because I read Drew's book and he talks about Bret a lot in the book and his love for Bret the Hitman Hart and how Bret is the reason he fell in love with professional wrestling. Though what I noticed was something strange. The lighting in the background was purple. And I thought to myself, I was like, is this their like hint that he's joining the Judgment Day on Saturday? Is this our big hint? Are we kicking out Damian Saturday? Is Drew joining? Now, I could be reading too much into this, but that's what you do in professional wrestling. And I thought to myself, out of all the colors that they could have used for Drew McIntyre, why purple? Unless it was meant for people like me that were going to read too much into it. And I was wondering if you noticed it.
No. I definitely didn't notice that. That would be interesting. And I think that would be a really fascinating swerve. But I don't know, man. I'm still of the belief that Seth is going to keep this thing till Mania, man. I just have a strange feeling. He's still super over.
Yeah, 100%.
No,
I don't see Seth dropping the title at all.
No. But I like that, and I feel that if you're gonna have anything change in the Judgment Day, I would like to see Priest get a face run. And I think the crowd would really get behind him if that
Yeah.
did happen. And I think he could take Kevin's place, within that anti-Judgment Day group. So,
well, I just imagine him and Sami Zayn teaming together. I feel like they're both like,
oh yeah,
I feel like they would mesh really well, and it kind of leads back to like what Sami Zayn does, which is he pulls the person from the group that doesn't belong there.
Yeah.
I like it. We obviously see another package with another female, which I'm sorry, I didn't mean to skip Nia Jax earlier, but Nia Jax had her own package, says how she's gonna beat everybody, and then now we have Zoe Stark, who has the coolest fucking theme song in the business right now. I don't know if you've listened to it, but just it's sick, and yeah, I'm a big fan of it. But then we get Seth freaking Rollins to the ring, and he cuts a promo on Drew McIntyre.
yeah.
And he mentions the Jack Perry line, which is "Cry Me a River." And immediately Twitter goes crazy. I mean, just the teases over and over for CM Punk. I feel like there has to be a reason for this.
Well, I mean, look, if there's one thing that we know, it's that WWE is very aware of what is going on, especially in the internet, especially everywhere. And this is a really nice way to sprinkle it in there. I thought it was cool because, it was an odd babyface promo in a way. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because like he was like making fun of him, and that's not typically something you see a babyface do. But I think the point that you're at with the storytelling, Seth is tired of Drew. He's tired of Drew's bitching. He wants to shut his mouth, and he wants to show him, hey, I'm the champion. I'm here to stay. And I thought that the segment was really good. And again, like the crowd is just so behind Rollins, and it's funny because you see so many people out there saying, well, they got to take the title off of Rollins. Rollins has to lose the title. Rollins doesn't need the title. How are you going to take the title off this guy when this guy is super over? If you're going to put the title on somebody else, you either need to make somebody or put it on somebody that's more over than he is. And who knows who that could be between now and WrestleMania. We'll have to just wait and see. But yeah, I thought it was a great promo. I thought it was really good building up into their matchup this weekend. And who knows, man? I mean, that's an interesting observation you made about the light. It would be something. And I would like to see Damian, kind of get a run as a face. But either way, I thought it was a solid segment too.
Yeah, 100%. We roll right in here to JD McDonough just attacking Seth Rollins, and they have a pretty solid match. Nothing too special, nothing too great.
Oh, wait a minute. It was okay. I'm sorry. I thought you missed the segment, but that's okay. My bad. I forgot the Bex one, but that's after this. That's right.
Oh yeah, no. That was the whole reason for the shirt.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So yeah, we have this match, and it's pretty solid. I'm gonna say it was probably top 2 matches of the night. I guess I've just kind of become desensitized to Seth Rollins having such great matches. And as we talked about it before, I think JD McDonough is this day and age's version of the Crippler. I feel like that's his style. Yeah. I feel like one day in the future, when it's never going to be okay to tell the world that that's your favorite wrestler, but we're going to find out that was the wrestler that made him love wrestling. That's kind of how I feel about it, because that's his style. He works that way. That's what he reminds me of the most. Seth Rollins wins with the blackout. I mean, we move back here. We go backstage to Adam Pearce and Ricochet, where he offers Ricochet a chance to be #1 contender for the Intercontinental Championship, but Ricochet kind of pulls a fucking Wardlow, and he's like, yeah, I like that, but I have unfinished business with Dominic. I mean, what do you think of this? Like, this is the second time in as many years as we've seen somebody who needs this push kind of turn down a title opportunity to continue their feud with someone.
It's weird because it's like, I think with the way they did it with Wardlow, it was a lot different. This kind of makes sense more than the Wardlow one because he, Dominic's super annoying. He's a pain in the ass. If he was a guy that you were fighting, you'd probably want to kick his ass, especially if he beat you in a bullshit way. Yes. So that's a little bit more understandable than just a guy winning, this opportunity in any title. And instead of, he's undefeated, he's beating the shit out of everybody. And then he goes, well, I don't want the world title. I want the TV title. And it's like, what? Like, what are you doing? Like, like it's like if Goldberg, would have just said, screw taking on Hulk Hogan. I'll just go for the U.S. title again. Or, you know what? Like, I think he was double champ at that time when he beat Hogan for the title. Yeah. that'd be like him going, well, no, I want to be TV champ. Like, what? That's fucking stupid. Like, that makes no sense. You're steamrolling everybody. You have an opportunity to take on the man in the company. Why wouldn't you do that? But I think this is slightly different. I see the similarities. I get where you're coming from. But I think that this is good because this is kind of extending into the program with Dom and Ricochet.
Absolutely. I like it. I like it too. From here, we move on to one of the most hilarious segments of the night where we see Chelsea Green and Piper Niven dressed up as the Hart Foundation. And Chelsea Green, might I say, she made a pretty good hit, man.
She did.
Want to make it clear. Just want to make it clear. I thought you were going to come on here and say she made a better hitman than the hitman.
No.
But Chelsea Green is just an absolute superstar. AEW really screwed the pooch with that one because,
she should have been what Britt Baker was, or what Britt Baker is. Honestly,
100%. Yeah,
she's more talented than her in the ring. I thought the hot mess gimmick was super cool.
Oh, great,
super original. It is what it is. But I mean, hey, man, one person's loss is another person's gain, and since she's come back, just her ability to be able to thrive in every situation, and situations that maybe perhaps to some talent would seem like they're drowning or they're in purgatory or mediocrity. She's been able to take that and say, okay, give me the worst you got. I'm going to make it work. And she's made everything work.
Absolutely. Absolutely. From there, we move on to Ivar and Valhalla.
Can we put over Piper though, real quick? She looked like a great animal.
Yeah.
The mannerisms were
great.
Piper,
Piper Niven. I've been a fan of hers ever since that Mae Young Classic match with Toni Storm. That match was phenomenal. Please go back and watch that. It's on WWE Peacock. I'm not going to be able to tell you the season that it was on or anything, but there was only, I think, 3 Mae Young Classics, so it shouldn't be hard to find.
It's worth a Google.
Absolutely. From there, we move on to Valhalla and Ivar. I've actually become a really big fan of the Viking Raiders. I think that both of these guys are immensely talented. I've been lucky enough to watch them live a lot as they've come to Hershey here between them and the Street Profits, and I realized how good this team was. Individually, they're both really good. And he says he wants an IC title match, so it looks like everybody's coming for Gunther, which I love. I think that's great.
Yeah, absolutely. So is the other member of the Viking Raiders, is he injured in some type of way?
I believe he is. I believe he is injured.
Okay, so I would that's what I kind of thought. I mean, look, I remember when these guys were War Machine, when they competed in Ring of Honor, when they were in New Japan, when they were tag team champions over there. Obviously you get guys with this type of look, they're going to get that comparison to the Road Warriors. It's just inevitable. Obviously we all know that there's a bit of a curse of the Road Warriors, where every team that's kind of seemed like they were going to be that next Road Warrior, that next incarnation of the Road Warriors, they haven't fully lived up to the potential. It's difficult when you're known as War Machine and you try and go to the main roster and they try to call you this or that or the other thing. It's hard. I mean, I remember when they were the Viking Experience, and they've been able to kind of weather the storm. They're good, talented guys. I think Valhalla adds a really good mix to it. I know a lot of people. Yeah, she really adds to the presentation of what they're trying to do. I know some people tend to think that it's hokey, but I mean, look at the wrestling you grew up on. All that shit was fucking hokey as fuck. You know what I'm saying? They're characters. And I'm with you, man. I think he's super talented, and I'm looking forward to that match, man. If that does happen between him and Gunther, I think it would be freaking awesome.
Yeah, man, I loved it too. From here, we have a Natty entrance, which she comes out with like a BDSM Catwoman type of thing. I thought I was like, okay, like this is gonna be a little weird. But from there we find out that now we have booked at Crown Jewels pre-show. We have Sami Zayn versus JD McDonough. I mean, I thought, okay, that's a great way to kick it off. AEW's done a really great job kicking things off with the Acclaimed. They're a pretty popular team. It sucks that the Acclaimed are champions and they keep putting them on the pre-show, but they're pretty over. That's a great way to get the crowd popping. And now we move on to my favorite part of the night, Becky Lynch's segment.
Yeah.
Pat, she says everything that I feel like wrestling fans, like you mentioned how WWE is very aware of what's going on. She says everything. She says in 42 days, she has defended her title 9 times. That's more times than Rhea Ripley has defended the title in a year. That's more times than Roman Reigns has defended his title in a year. And she drops the line, man. And this is the line of all lines. This is something only Shawn Michaels can say, which is, she doesn't need the title. The title needs her. I mean, what did you think of this segment, bro?
I thought it was great. I popped for it. To me, Becky is the GOAT. She is the best women's wrestler ever. Okay. What she's been able to do, how she works. And look, she doesn't need to know all these fancy holds and all these wrist locks and all this other stuff. She could work all that world of sports shit. She knows all that stuff. She grew up on that catch wrestling. You know what I mean? Becky knows how to deliver in the ring. Becky knows how to sell a character. Becky has amazing mannerisms, amazing selling. She could cut a promo about anything, literally anything, and make it compelling and make it interesting. She's the fucking best. And I love the HBK nod. Obviously, Shawn Michaels is really integral in getting these talents to where they're at. And I think he's played a big part mentoring a lot of them along the way. And I thought that was a nice little nod to throw in there for the GOAT. And I thought it was great. I mean, Becky she just continues to just make things important. Every time she's out there, she makes it important. And I'm really looking forward to her and Rhea whenever it does happen, because I think it's going to be awesome.
Loved it. She drops the top 2 most popular characters in the biz.
Yeah.
In like seconds.
Yeah.
Awesome. From here, we move on to Chelsea Green versus Natalia. And Nikki Cross is hiding underneath a fucking pumpkin. Whatever they're doing with Nikki Cross, keep doing it. I'm very intrigued, very excited for what's to happen. I think she's going to snap like she did in NXT. I love it. What did you think of Chelsea using Matt Cardona's stuff, taking a power bomb on candy corn? Like super hardcore.
I popped when the way she pulled out the bag and made it look like thumbtacks.
Yeah.
I thought it was great. Obviously, I thought it was a nice little nod to the Deathmatch King, Matt Cardona, as well as a nice little way to maybe poke fun at some of the stuff that's going on in the other company in AEW. But yeah, you know, it was funny, and Chelsea just excels in these roles. And I hope somewhere at some point down the line, we do get to see maybe, Natty and Nikki against Chelsea and Piper. I think that would be pretty interesting. But the when they pulled up the pumpkin and freaking Nikki's underneath the pumpkin, I died, dude. That shit popped me. That shit popped me.
It was hilarious. Yeah. We're definitely intrigued. So please keep doing that with Nikki Cross, and don't just squash it very quickly. Like give us like weeks and weeks of this. Obviously Chelsea picks up the win with the unpretty her. That was a really great spot there. We get a Rhea Ripley promo. Commentary hypes up Crown Jewel. And then we have the main event of the evening, Sami Zayn versus Damian Priest. This match itself was it was exactly what it needed to be. All it was supposed to be the go-home show Raw. We are ending the show with the good guys versus the bad guys, and I found it very interesting that the good guys stood tall. What'd you think about it?
I thought it was good. I mean, obviously, you know, you had what happened, you know, the week before. You know, you want to mix things up. Cody, you know, the ankle, the whole thing, they're selling that. I thought it was a great way to end the program. The crowd was into it, and it sets up a lot of potential possibilities for Crown Jewel, which is really what you want, you know. At some point, you got to think the Judgment Day is going to get their heat back. Whether it happens this weekend or not remains to be seen, but I thought it was a really solid go home Raw. I mean, overall, the entire program was good. I mean, you know, it was just it did exactly what it needed to do in a really good way with some high level wrestling, and that's all you could really fucking ask for.
Yeah, I loved it. And what I loved is that if we go back to the WrestleMania story with Cody Rhodes and Roman Reigns, they actually traded weeks of going over on promos. That's what happened with Cody Rhodes. Last week, Damian Priest ate his lunch, which doesn't happen very often to Cody Rhodes. This week, Cody returned a favor, cutting a promo right before the show goes off the air saying, what's Damian's story? He's 6'6". He's a 20-year pro. He's even got a briefcase. He's not the leader of the Judgment Day. It's because he's a walk behind her. And he walks behind Rhea, Finn, Dominic. When you think it's somebody else, it's always Cody Rhodes. He's back on his path. And on Saturday, his path goes straight through him. I mean, what a promo. What a great way to dig like Damian. Like, what are we going to get here?
And the crowd was hot. The crowd was hot. You know, I mean, it's still crazy to me that people try to throw that narrative out that Cody's not over, that Cody's not a big face. I just don't understand. Mamta Mishra, welcome to the show.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you for joining us. Yeah.
But you know, this narrative that like Cody's not a top baby face, I think is asinine at this point. I mean, you look at the crowd reactions he gets, and Cody, man, what a talker, dude. I mean, what an inspirational speaker that knows how to just play to a crowd and get them on his side. And I thought it was excellent. And again, the crowd was hot. The crowd was hot, and that's what you want. That's what you want, man. That anticipation.
I gotta be honest. If we're moving towards a spot where CM Punk comes back to the WWE, I think it would be a disservice to fans if we don't get Cody versus Punk.
At some point, I think we do have to get it. I think it has to happen. When it happens, I don't know. You know, the interesting thing with Punk is that if he does come back, where does he fit into things? Monday Night Raw would be a good choice for him. I think that there's, you know, you got Jimmy, you know, you got Becky, you got Seth, you got Cody, you know, and you'd have Punk in there. Those would be the 5 big stars of that program, and Rhea obviously too. But I mean, you never want to be short of stars. I think personally, Punk going to Raw makes a lot more sense. I think if he goes to SmackDown, you're gonna kind of tease him and Roman, and I think you want to hold on that until the time is right. And more importantly, I feel like him coming back could potentially derail LA Knight as well. So
I feel like he could potentially derail Cody.
It's interesting though, man. I don't know. I don't know if that could happen. You know what I mean? I don't know if that could happen.
I hope you're right.
I don't know, man. I mean, it's tough. Look, either way, the crowd are going to be into him. I mean, some people could have said that Sammy could have potentially derailed it, you know, because Sammy was super over, man.
Yeah.
Sammy still is super over.
The problem is Punk is bigger than anybody not named Roman Reigns. Like, I know we're talking about Cody, and you're absolutely right. The only person that's higher above Cody right now in the business, but all 3 companies in the business, Ring of Honor, AEW, and WWE, is Roman Reigns. It's just Cody. It's Cody, then it's Roman. Like that's the pecking order. But Punk, it's because he transcends professional wrestling. He's outside of wrestling as well. Like, I feel like he could derail a lot of things, but I hope you're right. I hope people are more excited for Cody finishing the story than the Colt Cabana podcast.
Yeah, exactly. I think too, having Punk on there can also help out with the ratings. I mean, obviously they compete against Monday Night Football. You know, we understand what that's like. As the season progresses, you know, the Monday night games are going to be becoming a lot more meaningful. But I feel like he's a guy that could kind of help combat that. More importantly, I'd like to see him in NXT at some point. I think that would be awesome. I think he could go over there and do a lot for them, and he would definitely spike their rating. But look, no matter where you choose to use the guy, he's going to be of interest. So who knows? It's not that we're not that far off from the Survivor Series, and I'm really looking forward to seeing what happens there. Yeah, man.
So before we wrap up the show, there's one thing I wanted to talk about that I noticed on SmackDown, and I was really hoping to talk about it on the show, but since you were so gracious with your time tonight and joined me, I figured, hey, why not ask the person whose opinion I value most? During the contract signing between LA Knight and Roman Reigns, I caught this feeling, and maybe it was just me, maybe it was just what I was watching. Is Nick Aldis being used correctly? Because that dude looks like a fucking star. Like, he looked more like a star. He looked more like compatible to Roman Reigns than LA Knight did. Now, I know that you and I have become the internet's LA Knight bashers and stuff like that. But like, am I looking at it wrong? Does he not look like a great?
First of all, I just want to say we are not LA Knight bashers. Okay?
No.
We are not Nick Wright. He is not the 49ers. Okay.
Yeah.
It's not like that. Okay.
Yeah.
We were just a tad bit opinionated on the subject. But I mean, Nick Aldis is a guy that, you know, I always saw the potential. I just felt like, okay, it's only a matter of time before he goes and takes that next step. I'm a little confused on the National Treasure name, especially when he's English, but he's in America, but he's the National Treasure. How does that work? But whatever. That's just my own thing. But yeah, no, I mean, I think he is being used correctly.
Okay.
Look, there's a lot of things we don't know, right? And this is a guy that you're essentially introducing to an audience who really doesn't watch Impact, who hasn't watched NWA, who doesn't really know who this guy is, but he's got a great look.
Yes.
This is a good way to introduce him. This is a good way to get him out there. Much like the other authority figure, Scrap Iron Adam Pearce. They're both former NWA world champions. They held the 10 pounds of gold. But we don't know what the situation is with Nick either. We don't know if health-wise, maybe he can't really do what he might want to do.
That's a great point.
So I think that this is a good way to introduce him to the audience, a larger audience who probably haven't heard of him. And I think that this is a good way to get him over as a baby face. But I also do see your point. I mean, yeah, he looks like a better challenger to Roman Reigns, I think, than LA Knight does. He does.
Yeah.
Aesthetically, he does. He has that look. But where they go with him, we'll see. Time will only tell on that. But I definitely think that, they're playing it a certain way for a certain reason. I trust in Triple H. I trust what he's doing. And who knows where we could go with Nick Aldis. But, I do think that he is being used correctly for what's being asked of him right now.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I thought this was one of the better go-home shows that we've gotten in the past calendar year.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I really felt like this Monday Night Raw was spectacular. One of the, for the fact that it was a go-home show, and there's so many people that are going to be traveling all week. I was really excited for what we saw tonight. So very impressed. Yeah,
absolutely. I think that Monday Night Raw has gotten a bad rap recently, maybe by certain segments. Look, I think for people that are tribalistic or people that are perhaps internet marks, they don't tend to like Monday Night Raw. They poo-poo the segments, prisoner of the moment, but I think overall with what they're trying to accomplish with the episodic style storytelling that they're doing, it's hot. I mean, the program was fucking hot. The crowd was into it. The crowd was ready. And it was a really, really good go home program to lead into Crown Jewel. So obviously, SmackDown's going to be hot. But I mean, I'm pretty sure that they're looking at that in SmackDown and they're saying, damn, this was a good show. We got to step up our game on Friday.
Yeah, I'm choosing to wait till Friday to watch SmackDown. I know the spoilers are out. They recorded it last week, but I'm choosing not to.
Yeah, I'm not doing it either.
I just want to enjoy the show because I'm looking forward to a weekend worth of wrestling.
Yeah. I'm with you too. When it comes to stuff like that, I don't really want to watch the spoilers. And yeah, I definitely want to enjoy the ride. And folks, it's okay to enjoy the ride out there. It's okay to watch the program. You don't have to nitpick and analyze every friggin' detail. Enjoy the show. It is a show. It's meant for you to enjoy.
Agreed. And on that note, guys, we'll leave it here. Follow Paddy Rican over on Instagram. Do you want to drop your IG here, bud?
No, I don't want to because people are gonna send me some sort of thing or for Bitcoin or I don't know, whatever. I got NFT messages, a couple of nudes. No thanks. I'm not interested. Right. But check us out on Working the Marks. We're part of the Famcast Media family here. Must Love Wrestling, the SmackDown to our Monday Night Raw. Actually now, tonight, I guess you're the Monday Night Raw to our SmackDown tomorrow.
Yeah, but whichever. I'm happy with either one.
Yeah, but overall.
I'm happy even being called the Nitro. It's fine, whatever.
Yeah, that works.
However it works. But either way, since you mentioned Working the Marks, guys, join us right back here tomorrow night at 9:45 Eastern Standard Time as Paddy Rican, myself, and Uribe will be on Working the Marks, and we will be discussing professional wrestling, which is what we love to talk about.
Yeah, absolutely, man. Absolutely. And to everybody out there, have a safe and fun Halloween tomorrow. Yeah. Enjoy the candy. That's all I got to say about that.
Absolutely. All right, guys. Que tenga buen día.
Thank you, man.